Hello, this is Patrick. Welcome to Chart Built Wealth, profitable investing with technical analysis. I have a new buy recommendation and it's pretty unorthodox, but I think it's, again, something to diversify your portfolio and be able to hopefully make money. Um, Luckily, the three buy recommendations I have, uh, Chevron was up today over 1%. The GSG, the iShares Commodity Index was up, I think 1%, and corn was up slightly. I'd like to have been short the overall market. Haven't been able to get that right this leg down yet, and but it was a good day. So today I'm going to. This is unorthodox, but I think you can make. I think the potential here is, which is kind of scary, is I am shorting the long treasuries, really shorting all of them, but the longer end of the curve, which is kind of counterintuitive. If you think the market is weak, normally people gravitate towards treasuries. So I don't get it doesn't, it's not rational to me, but the charts are telling me it's there. And I've made some really good calls on long treasuries over the last 10 or 15 years. So, with that, let's get into it. This is a chart before we get into this. Ignore this name. This is actually the 30-year treasury bond chart. And you can see from, I think this started in like 1980. We had this steady upmarket of treasuries while uh, bond yields went down, which is really a great environment for stocks. And since 2020, we've had this really big sell-off in treasuries. I mean, really uh, huge. And you can see when we got, so what I see when I look at this downtrend, besides the bearish channel, I see a five-wave down counting. My Elliott wave theory. One of the tools that I use in my toolbox, there's 20 or 30 of them that I use, but you can clearly see a five-wave decline here. And so that means the bigger trend is down. And now this is on a monthly chart. This chart goes back to 2003. So each one of these bars represents a month of price action. So this is really big picture stuff. And if you can get the big picture right in almost all securities and asset classes, you can make large amounts of money, not just trading NVIDIA for a week or a day or whatever that is. I do that too, but um, anyway, big picture stuff is always better to start with to set up your shorter term calls. So uh, you can see into these two lows of wave three and wave five, we had higher lows on our relative strength index, saying that when prices went down into this fifth wave low, it went into that with less selling. So most of the people were already throwing up their treasuries because they had lost 25% of their principal. Um, and so, this was the time to get bullish. And now we've had an A, B, C correction. So the trend goes in five waves and corrections go in three. And so we've had an ABC correction right up to the threshold of our resistance line. And so I see a small first wave down and a second wave back up. And if I'm right, we're going into the throes of a third wave. And what we know about third waves here, take a look at this third wave, how big. And it went from 165 to, let's call it 115 on a treasury bond. It's supposed to be safe. So, uh, so this is kind of the place to get bearish. And I've been patiently watching this. So on the short, that's bets that this goes down. Yes. This is a short treasuries that I'm going to show you now. So we're going to switch over to the short ETF, TBF. See if I can get this over. And here we are. So, let's go back. So this big downtrend here, we're going to look at that. And this is the end of that big downtrend. And since then, normally when you get a big move like that, you're going to get either a correction, just a corrective thing because it's gone up so much, or you get a sideways correction, which is a show of strength. And you can see that that's what we've gotten here. So, if it can get above 25, you got about 20% more upside. Right now we're at, let's call it 24. So, what is that? Another 3 or 4% on top of that potentially. It hasn't broken out yet. This is just all potential, but now we're going to look at the daily chart here. And here's the daily chart. So, we have this is small, it's only 2 months. Inverse head and shoulders pattern. We got the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder, the neckline. We break out, that gives you 4% upside, which would get us on our way to our bigger goal. And we have a bullish rainbow convergence right now. So will prices come down and test that, or will it, continue higher? I don't know. But if it dips tomorrow or the next day or whatever, I would be buying more as long as it holds this 23.5 level. So that's the call. Again, small patterns turn into big patterns, but when you look at this big pattern, that's a downtrend. Anyway, thank you for watching Chart Built Wealth, profitable investing with technical analysis. Please like and subscribe. Tell your friends, neighbors, and family. Have a great evening. Good trading tomorrow. Adios.